There was a time when the internet felt like an uncharted territory. Before social media, before algorithms dictated what we saw, the web was a place of discovery, sometimes exciting, sometimes terrifying. In that chaos of the late 90s, whispers began to spread about a website that seemed more like an urban legend than a real page. Its name was simple, almost childish. But for many, it became the first digital encounter with something forbidden. That name was Rotten.com. Rotten.com appeared online in 1996. At first glance, it looked unassuming, almost amateur. A plain white background, black text, no flashy banners or distractions. But behind its simplicity was something far more unsettling. The site became known as a collection of images and content that pushed the boundaries of what most people were willing to confront. It didn't hide in the shadows of the so-called dark web. It was right there, accessible to anyone with an internet connection. And that was part of its danger. The mystery around it spread quickly. On early forums, chat rooms, and among teenagers exploring the internet for the first time, the site was a dare. Someone would whisper about it, someone else would type the address, and within seconds the room would go silent. People weren't prepared for what they saw. Many described their first visit as a strange mixture of shock, disgust, and fascination, the kind of curiosity that forces you to look away, yet pulls you back at the same time. For a generation that had grown up with filtered TV and censored magazines, Rotten.com was the internet stripped of boundaries. Some stumbled upon it accidentally. Others sought it out after hearing rumors. But almost everyone remembers that first click. The moment when the screen loaded and you realized there were no rules here. No limits, no warnings, just raw, unfiltered content. The site's tagline was deliberately vague. Its creators claimed it was a place for the things society didn't want to look at. And that ambiguity made it even more unsettling. What exactly did that mean? Each visitor had to decide for themselves whether they wanted to keep exploring or close the page and never return. The truth is, Rotten.com was never just a website. It was a test, a mirror of our own curiosity, reflecting back the uncomfortable reality of how far people were willing to go when given unfiltered access to information. Some critics argued it was nothing more than shock value, a grotesque collection designed to disturb. Others believed it was a raw archive of truths the world preferred to ignore, an unflinching reminder of the darker side of life. What made it even more mysterious was how it managed to exist in plain sight for so long. The late 90s and early 2000s were years without today's strict content policies. There were no AI filters, no aggressive takedowns, and no warnings before you clicked. Rotten.com thrived in that void, gaining a reputation that spread across high schools, college campuses, and online communities like a forbidden secret. But as the internet evolved, the walls began to close in. Governments, watchdog groups, and even advertisers pressured the site, calling it indecent and dangerous. Slowly, its influence began to fade, its name whispered less often. By the mid-2000s, many browsers and networks had already blocked it, and for those who tried to return years later, the page had become a ghost of itself, a relic of an era where the web felt untamed. Still, the legend of Rotten.com never truly disappeared. To this day, it remains a piece of digital folklore. Ask anyone who explored the early internet, and they'll remember it, often with a mix of dread and fascination. Some insist it was an early warning of what the internet could become, a place where curiosity and horror intertwine, and where the boundaries of what should be seen are constantly tested. In the end, Rotten.com wasn't just a website. It was a story we told ourselves about fear, curiosity, and the shadows hidden in plain sight. And perhaps that's why it lingers even now in whispers and memories, because deep down, it wasn't only about what the site showed us. It was about what it revealed within us. So, what do you think? Was Rotten.com nothing more than shock entertainment, or a disturbing glimpse into truths we weren't ready to face? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more true stories that echo through time.